I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh, and I can see my baby tonight. You better rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. You better rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. I'm running from the cold up in New England. I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band. My baby plays the guitar and I pick the banjo now. All the North Coast winter keeps getting me down. I lost my money playing poker, so I had to leave town. But I ain't heading back, living that old life no more. Better rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. You better rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Out of Roanoke, I caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long tow, but he's heading west to the Cumberland Gap and Johnson City, Tennessee. I gotta get a move on before the sun. Hear my baby call my name and I know that she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. Better rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Hey, 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 mama, rock me.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Come home late and you come home early. Come home big when you're feeling small. Come home straight and you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. Out there running just to be on the run. Well, I got a heart that burns with a fever. I got a word and a jealous mind. How can loving last forever? Get left so far behind. What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed at the sound of loneliness. Out there running just to be on the run. It's a mighty mean and a dreadful sorrow. Cross the evil line today. How can you ask about tomorrow? We ain't got one word to say. What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. Out there running just to be on the run. Out there running just to be on the run. Out there running just to be on the run. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, to the 6th Annual Titans of Tech. Woohoo! It's one of our favorite of the year. I'm Doug Erickson, and
I'm LeBaron Myers.
yeah, and we wish that we had Matt. How many have been to a Titans in the past? Anybody? Quite a few. So you know that Matthew Swinnerton is usually one of the key people up here, right? He and his whole family have COVID. So we told him, stay home. We don't need you. And we won't be doing any funny stuff tonight. Matthew usually likes to do something like, oh, I don't know, make us into human sundaes, things like that. Yeah, ice buckets and things like, no, we're not doing that, right? Or did you have something planned?
No, I didn't sign up for that.
Really?
I didn't sign up
Wait
for
a
that.
minute. I thought.
I am your backup, but I am not. I am not Matthew.
Okay. Darn. I thought she was going to pull a rabbit out of the hat here. So
We'll see.
Again, welcome everybody. We will make some announcements first. We have, I think, 5 or 6 companies and people who are going to do 1-minute announcements. And then we will invite the BIFs, Best Introducing Friend, to come up and do a 1-minute announcement about their Titan. And then the Titan will come up and they'll have 3 minutes to tell their story. And we welcome photos and social media, whatever you want to do there. Just don't put my name on it. So,
Hashtag Doug Erickson.
No. Anyway, and I think that's one other thing that you should know. There was a lot of issues in getting the trophies and the plaques ready for tonight. Mainly bah humbug, the holidays. So Idea Fab Labs is 3D printing these beautiful trophies for our Titans, but they won't be ready until after the holidays. So we're going to be giving certificates to start out with. So it's a bonus, right? You're getting 2 things, Titans. So yeah.
Will you send a picture of these through the newsletter?
Why not?
Yeah,
I think we
see.
should.
I want to see what Idea Fab Lab comes up with.
They're working on an amazing design, but it's going to take time. So with that, who's our first?
Thomas Wynn is our first announcer.
Yay, Thomas, come on up and tell us about Wynn Capital.
Is there going to be a more elaborate introduction?
It's all you.
I am Thomas Wynn. I'm the owner, founder, CEO, and janitor of Wynn Capital Management. Thank you very much. We're an investment advisory firm. We do financial planning, investment advisory, more financial planning, and we do all the things that a normal firm does, but we do a lot of things that firms don't do. We provide downside protection using derivatives and a lot of other really, really interesting strategies. So if you want to talk about it, my website is wincapital.com, and I'll be around all the time if you want to talk about it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. I know Thomas is managing our portfolio, my wife and mine, and keeps saying, Doug, why are you doing this? You should just go on retirement, and because he's done a great job. And no, but I have fun doing this, so here we are.
And I became a client of his because I heard you and Margie were a client. And I will say he is much better at what he does than marketing himself at what he does. So he's doing
It's
a great
true.
job.
I think that one thing that Margie likes about him is he will explain things in a very calm, even-keeled, sort of way, instead of me like, no, we can do this, we can do that. Let's just go. No, anyway, so he's really good at this.
He's very good at what he
Yeah.
does. Very good.
Who do we have as next?
I don't know who's next. Can we pull out our cheat sheet?
I believe it is
This is not cutting into your
Justice.
Justice.
Snap clip. Woohoo!
Come on up.
How many
for
of
your
you guys have
1 minute
heard of Snap
announcement.
clip? Well, now you will.
Hello, my name is Justice Earl. I'm the founder of SnapClip. So in 2018, I was nominated as a Titan of Tech. And at the time, I had a different product. I told all of you guys I was going to sell millions of units. Well, we launched the product. We didn't sell millions of units. So today, I have a new product. And with this product, we're going to sell millions of units.
It's a variation of the first product, right?
It's a simplification
Yes.
of the first product.
Yeah.
So SnapClip is a single button remote control that you connect to your phone, your tablet, your laptop with Bluetooth, and then you control your photo, video, and music apps. So we launched last December. We were in 2 stores. This December, we're in 625 stores.
That's a Titan.
Thank you, Doug. So we launched national with Best Buy, and we're also in 3 stores down at the Boardwalk where we have a custom Santa Cruz branded line with local artist legend. So come back, Tim Ward's his name. Come back and check us out. We've got about 60 samples. We probably have enough to give one to everybody here. If you want to support, we're in the Best Buy in SoCal. We're down at the Boardwalk, and appreciate you guys and appreciate Doug and everything you do and supporting me over the years and giving me the platform. So thank you guys.
Hey, it's all about community. All right, who's next?
Ty.
Ty is.
Ty, where's my friend Ty? My new
One
friend Ty,
Mountain. Yeah.
who I also met through Doug, our connector in this world. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you too. Doesn't everybody meet everybody through Doug? Well, I certainly am meeting you all through Doug, so thank you, Doug, for your introduction to this incredible community. It's obviously working because there are a couple of familiar faces that I'm seeing here tonight. Right here. Thank you very much, Chris. I already started doing a little work in town. I'm fairly new to town, so I wanted to have this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm the founder of One Mountain Leadership. We really have a focus on leadership, management, and organizational transformation. And I've been, over the past 15 years of working with organizations, the one thing that I have seen over and over and over again is that the challenges that everybody faces in terms of the conflict that arises and the drag on productivity and how we work together and how we collaborate, like 60-70% of that stuff is very much preventable. It's really, really preventable. And I'm incredibly passionate about helping people, organizations, leaders to work smart and not hard. I've actually developed a suite of products I'm currently piloting with Stanford right now that's very much about that. Believe I found what I call, a leverage point, which is that one place where you can make a very small shift and get big changes in everything else. So I'm around. I'm here in the community. I'm happy to be here. I've been here since the beginning of the pandemic. So I'm happy to be. I'm happy to be getting out since the end of the pandemic to actually meet you all without masks and such. But please find me Ty Hammond. I'm on LinkedIn. I have 1 minute. Or, you can visit my website at onemountainleadership.com.
And you're going to be doing a class for us tomorrow, right?
Absolutely.
At
Friday.
Friday. CEO Works. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can learn from him if you're part of CEO Works. And
if you want to get a sense of what that leverage point is, that one thing, if you were to really shift or change that would transform everything else, you can come and either talk to me afterwards or come to that class on Friday.
Thank you, Ty.
Thanks so much.
Jared from Brick House.
Thank you, sir. Jared Brick House Media. If you can't remember that, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Tried to find the funnest brand I could create. And I was doing interviews today, and she's like, think of your brand as one word. So media, just remember me, Brick House Media. So been in business almost 10 years. Next year is our 10th year. We just got a new office space down in Capitola, and we decided to have a showcase of all the clients. Well, sorry, not all of them. Some of the clients we've worked with over the years, apparel companies, tech companies, startups, authors, coaches, and feature some of them in our showcase store, which is great. Come by, co-work, have a cup of coffee, hang out. Love to help you. We love helping Santa Cruz Works and entrepreneurs and startups get their start with media. My tip of the day is don't pull back when everyone's saying, there's a recession coming. Don't pull back on your marketing. It's like the silliest thing you could do. Push marketing, get out there, get in front of people. We've got crazy effective and efficient ways to do it now, so it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And we have a video creator course coming up in Q1 of next year. In person, learn how to use video, learn how to use video for your team, or make it a side hustle business for you. So, Brick House Media. Thank you.
Great. Hey, you didn't mention the fancy technology that you're using here from a previous Titan.
I'm going to stop my video on my phone right now using my snap clip. Oh! That's the guy right there. So again, hack ways to use media. Thank you, Justice. And it's just fun stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jared.
Nice plug, Doug. Nice plug. Our last announcement before we get started is Jacob from Digital
I don't
Nest.
see him. Oh, there it is. Who doesn't love this guy?
It's my fan club. What they didn't mention, I'm also on the board of Santa Cruz Works. So I'm technically his boss. So if any complaints, let me know and I'll take care of it. Nice to be here with everybody. I'm the founder of Digital Nest. We do workforce development in rural communities, specifically Watsonville, Salinas, and Gilroy. And we're expanding out to Stockton and Modesto. And there's brilliant young people that are in these communities that aren't getting recruited. And so our vision is to invest in young people the way Silicon Valley invests in their employees and really put those resources into them. So earlier, about mid-November, Guy Kawasaki announced a match of $50,000 for any donations. So we hit that. We hit that goal, and it inspired us somebody new. So we have a new donor that's giving $100 for any new donor to the nest, regardless of the amount. So if you give $5, he'll match $100 up to $10,000. We have 56 people already signed up to be new donors. We need 44 more. I'm guessing there's 44 people in here that have never donated. So I got little flyers to see a hand over there. If you're interested in becoming a donor and supporting our young people in Watsonville and surrounding rural communities, let me know. I have little flyers. You can become a donor tonight, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you much. And if you guys haven't gone out and visited any of their facilities, God, it's just awesome. And meet some of the students there. They're doing amazing work, and you can hire them too. So speaking of bosses, I think the first one to come up is Margaret Rosas, Madam President of Santa Cruz Works. And she's going to introduce her Titan.
Hi, friends. Wow, it's so exciting to be out here. See, I brought all these pages. I have 1 minute. But guess what? 2 of these pages are for Stacy. So, I want to tell you about Stacy. I met Stacy in 2009. Was that a recession year? I don't remember. Maybe it was. Maybe there was something happening in town that year. It was called Nextbase. And she was my office neighbor there in Nextbase. And then she became a colleague in something called 12 Seconds. So if any of you know about 12 Seconds, that was happening in Nextbase in 2010. And so I knew Stacy there. I also seem to recall that I saw her on the beak room floor at it's kind of how we got through those years. But anyway, so from there, 2010, she did a little hiatus. She joined a startup called Rally. There's somebody here that started that startup, and then she went to AOL, and then Highwire, and then I got her back. So I was at Loker at the time, and we needed an amazing person to run the spaces, what we called places and people and places team. And so Stacy in 2016, she came in to be the rocket ship we needed to basically cultivate collaborative, creative offices around the globe, which means building a great office here in Santa Cruz, which was very much Santa Cruz culture coming to life inside of Loker, and then bringing that to Dublin, to Tokyo, to London, to New York. I'm missing some offices, and then bringing them back here. And so all the time she did that, she brought Santa Cruz out into the world. That's a big deal. That's great for the brand of Santa Cruz, and great for Loker and what we were doing. And so that's what she was doing for a couple, 4 years. And then some company bought us. I think their name's Google. Yeah. So Google. And so what happened there is that now she had a bigger platform to bring the little bitty startup that could in Santa Cruz Loker into Google, and to basically make us part of the Google culture and bring the Google culture to Loker, and bring the places, the Ruse team, which we call it at Google, into the Loker team. And so basically that cross-cultural pollination was really led by Stacy. And so Stacy did all of that. And you know what she did? She had this, I figured I'd do some data analysis here. I'm probably over my minute, I know. But I just want to tell you that there were 33 emails with Downtown while she was at Loker. That was about 33,000 inboxes that were impacted. And when she's been at Google, there have been 12 emails with Downtown. But that's her reach there is a little smaller, but that's still 12,000. And then Santa Cruz, she mentioned 200 times while she was at Loker, and 72 times while she's been at Google. So I just want to let you know, she's spreading the love of Santa Cruz out there to Loker and beyond. And that means your nonprofits, your startups, your political education events, all of those things are getting broadcast because of Stacy. So I just want to let you all know that Stacy is lucky. We're lucky that Stacy came back to Santa Cruz, but mostly we're lucky to have Stacy. So I was really, really excited to be able to honor her in this way, because she has been the glue to basically bring through Santa Cruz tech all the way from Nextbase through to Loker and on to Google. And I just really am really excited. I'm really, 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 really excited to bring her up here and just say, thank you, Stacy, for being part of our community. We are so, so lucky to have you. Oh, and so here, what I have an email from 2010. And then I have an email from 2016 when she came to Loker. So I'm going to give these to her today, but this is an email to 12ers introducing a new concept at 12 seconds, and then an email introducing Stacy to Loker. So what she said there, I really forgot, I wanted to tell you guys this, is that she said, I'm excited about joining Loker as I believe data is the source of truth. I want to help Loker execute on goals quickly and celebrate the results together. I look forward to being part of this team and meeting you all soon. She was a Loker champion, an advocate and fan, and a Santa Cruz advocate and fan. I couldn't think of anybody else better to bring up than Stacy Nagel.
Yay. All right, Stacy.
Amazing. I cannot wait to read these emails. Thank you, Margaret. That was amazing. I love that you pulled up all of my email history because I am wordy. But I tried really hard to practice to be 3 minutes, so I'm going to try right now. So people have often called Margaret the mother of tech, and there's a lot of people here today that founded the tech scene in Santa Cruz, and I am 100% a product of that tech scene. So I am here because of all of you, so thank you so much. Before I was in tech, I was a middle school teacher, and I was activities director, so I learned about creating a community and creating a culture. And I also learned that middle school classroom management strategies work really well with engineers. So I'm sorry if some of you resemble that comment, but it's very true and it's okay. So my very first touch when I was thinking about leaving teaching, my very first touch with the Santa Cruz tech scene was I was standing in line for the very first iPhone, if you remember. You had to wait in line for like a day in the Capitola Mall. And I stood right behind Saul Littman. And Saul Littman had a lot of alcohol. And he had a projector playing Star Wars. And 10 hours later, when we finally got our iPhones, a lifelong friendship was born. And Saul would go on to be my boss 3 times. And he said, you should come to Nextphase if you're looking for a career change. So I did. So thank you, Jeremy Nooner, for starting Nextphase, and Ryan Coonerty for making this amazing place focused on culture in Santa Cruz. And shortly after I just showed up, I was working at 3 different startups, and I met Margaret, and I met Lloyd Taub, and I met Mike Shu, and there I was, right? I had a whole different career. So one of the startups was Rally Apps, which got acquired by AOL, and AOL was interesting, and we'll leave it at that. But it was a great opportunity for me. I learned a ton, and I moved to San Francisco for a few years for AOL, and then I missed home. I wanted to come back to Santa Cruz. I gave Margaret that call. Hey, I'm looking for something to do. And my role was real estate and workplaces, but it was also head of culture. And it was really intimidating. I mean, the culture that Lloyd Taub and Frank Bien created was incredible. And how challenging and exciting to be tasked with expanding it across the globe. And it was an incredible opportunity. There, I met Teresa Swart, who became an incredible mentor for me. I got involved in the county business council, which was amazing. And that's from Robert Singleton, former Titan, Peggy Delaganos. I never know how to say Peggy's last name. Thank you. Oh, so hard every time. And of course, the dearly departed Sid Slater, who I knew well from all the work we had done at Loker. And then I got involved in the board of the Downtown Association from Sonia Bruner and Jorian Wilkins and all these amazing people. And I met all of our business owners in Santa Cruz from both of those opportunities. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but these are amazing people, and please support local whenever you can, because they are truly, truly worth it. And that's why I send all those emails. So thanks to everyone I've mentioned and a ton of people I haven't. When I worked on the integration of Loker, with Google Cloud, I had the confidence to leave and head over to Google Cloud. And now my boss is Teresa, who used to be my mentor, and it's amazing. And it's amazing to land Google Cloud in Santa Cruz. So I'm here because of all the Titans that came before me. So many people I've mentioned, if you haven't been around for a while, have been Titans here, and they're the reason I'm here. So 23 years, I've been growing my tech career here on their shoulders, you know. So thank you so much. And 16-year-old me that came to visit from a small town in Michigan and said, I'm moving here after college, 23 years, still here. So thank you, everyone.
Great. Thank you. We're going to...
Well, and we should, just out of respect for everybody who's here and your time, We are going to remind the introducers. We are trying to keep it to 1 minute. And I know it's hard because there's so much love and admiration. And then the Titans can have their full 3, right? Okay, while I was saying that, you were supposed to be looking up who was next. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. got
Okay,
it.
up next.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah is going to come
Aaliyah.
up here and introduce her Titan.
Yes, Aaliyah from Paystand.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, tonight. I'm so excited. First off, thank you, Doug, for making this happen again. Love this. I love Titans of Tech. It's one of my favorite local events. But really excited tonight to introduce somebody that I met recently. It's been maybe a little over a year, maybe 2 now. Time flies when you're in a crazy startup in Santa Cruz. This young woman, she came to me, kind of just I didn't really know what she was, but she is awe-inspiring. She's highly intelligent, and she runs through walls. She's the kind of person that when somebody comes out and says, wow, I have this crazy idea, everybody else in the room says, that's crazy. Not Allison. She looks at you, same look on her face as everyone else, but looks at you and goes, I think we can do it. I've got the plan. Now, in her head, in that plan, did she fix everything? Did she not have any mistakes? Nah, she thought of that plan in 5 seconds, you guys. So yeah, we have mistakes. We have roadblocks. But she's the kind of person who sees a fire, she runs straight into it with her arms in the air saying, I've got this. And she does. She's got it. She's brilliant. She gives me hope in the next generation, and I just love working with her each and every day. So let's welcome Miss Allison Steitz. So proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Doug. Thank you all. It's so nice to be here. Nice to meet everybody. Looking forward to spending more time together. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes to share my story, which begins in college, where I was inspired by impact investing. Somebody from Goldman Sachs came and talked about the 10,000 Women campaign, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to do that. So right after college, I moved to Washington, D.C. and entered as an entry-level operations person for a firm called Quona Capital, which was investing in growth stage financial technology companies in emerging markets. So think Paystand, but in India, or Robinhood, but in the Philippines. And that job definitely set me on the track to do fintech, social entrepreneurship, venture, impact investing for sure. But the biggest takeaway from that job was actually learning how to build slides. Because I was responsible for, doing all the LP reporting, helping them raise a second fund, and there was 2 senior investment associates at the time who were ex-BCG consultants. And when I would prepare a slide, I'd bring it to them to be like, "What is this, Allison? Like, do you not understand how to do a 2x2?" So that was a great thing, and obviously we're not using slides now, which is also good. So. I then moved to San Francisco and joined a venture capital firm called Blue Run Ventures as an investment associate. And Blue Run invests in early stage companies across health, fintech, and enterprise software in the United States. And again, the biggest takeaway from that job was actually getting to observe some boards. So there was a day where I was in Salt Lake City with one of the general partners, and we're sitting in this room, in a boardroom, and I'm sitting observing everything, and the sun is setting over the beautiful Salt Lake City mountains, and I'm witnessing this incredibly heated discussion between the CEO and the board around a recent controversy with the company's use of personal data, the CEO's approach to the PR around the issue, and their discussion around the financing plan. And I walked out of that room being like, the board investors who've been in that guy's seat, the CEO's seat, had their pulse on what was going on in a way that the board investors who were only coming at it from a financing and growth perspective didn't. And so I, at that moment, decided I want operating experience. I then proceeded to interview for some product management positions, including interviewing at Paystand. And I didn't get the job because I didn't have the product chops at the time. And I had met a friend at a conference a couple months back who was based in Mexico and working on some really interesting health technology applications. There were 2 in particular. The first was an ultrasound technology app, which would help doctors in rural areas of Mexico learn how to interpret ultrasound images by streamlining the images through the phone, interpolating them using AI to make the quality of the image easier, and then basically giving you a way of exploring the image and learning how to perform certain diagnoses to detect a pathology. So that was the first application. The second application was an app that enabled you to track your fitness, kind of like your Apple Watch, but then also start to obtain your vitals using the camera of the phone. And I thought that was really cool. It was like right in the middle of the pandemic. So he wanted help incorporating the business in the United States and getting access to financing. So I flew down and I found myself sitting in a clinic in Querétaro, Mexico, watching these patients come in, do their ultrasounds, get their surgeries, and watching the developers work together, all in Spanish. I didn't speak a lick of Spanish, so that was really hard, but I learned, which was great. And then towards the end, we ended up getting shut down by Apple, who wouldn't let us update a version of the app because it was competing with Apple Watch. And I took a step back and I was like, do I want to do this for the rest of the next 10 years? And the answer was no. So I left, and while I was in Mexico, Jeremy Allman, who's the CEO of Paystand, had given me a call. And he was like, hey, Allison, I have this idea. I kind of want somebody to help start growth, whatever that means. He was like, I want somebody to basically help drive customer acquisition from the product and not through sales and marketing. And I want you to do it. And I was like, that sounds great. Let's go. And I've been with the company for 1.5 years, and it's been a wild ride. So for anybody who doesn't know Paystand, we're a DeFi-enabled B2B payment network driving capital efficiency across accounts receivable and now accounts payable. I've had the great privilege of getting to work with people like Bindu and Aaliyah and Marissa who are here, and many other people on launching the accounts payable side of the business. So it's been so fun to operate. I love operating, and really looking forward to getting to share stories with you all. So thank you.
It's time for a picture. Maybe while we're here, if you know the Book of Mormon, we could sing Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing you got it. Okay. Thank you so much. Congratulations. I think Andrea's up next. God, speaking of a lot of bosses, she's also on the Santa Cruz Works board, so they're all judging me tonight.
Thanks, Doug. My name's Andrea Pesci. I'm with UC Santa Cruz. We just launched the Innovation and Business Engagement Hub. All the leadership are here tonight, so reach out to us. Not going to take too much time talking about us because we want to be fast, right? But I just met a new friend, Cynthia, who's a professional MC, and she told me it's totally okay to read from what you have. So I really wanted to mean what I say, so I prepared something written. But it's really my privilege to know Chris Bley, and a real honor to introduce him tonight. So first I'd like to tell you about Chris's entrepreneurial and tech background. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Chris is a UC Santa Cruz alumni. He actually grew up in Southern California, but has called Santa Cruz home for several decades now. So after his really exciting early life, traveling the world and climbing all over the world, in 2001, Chris founded Rope Partner in Santa Cruz. This is a company that services wind energy turbines by utilizing expert climbing skills to inspect and maintain hard-to-reach areas of wind turbines. So impressive. Chris's entrepreneurialism had him exploring remotely operated technologies for maintenance inspections, and soon enough, he was building software systems for image capture on drones. He then founded Inspect Tools in 2013, a company that builds software for renewable energy and utility UAV inspections. UAV is unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. And in 2017, he founded Insight Up Solutions, a drone and sensor reseller that works with drone manufacturers on commercial drone technologies, primarily for agriculture, energy, and public safety applications. So in 2018, Inspect Tools was bought by Precision Hawk, a drone and UAV company, and in 2020, Rope Partner was acquired by Magnesium Capital. So that's 3 companies in Santa Cruz, and I'm not done yet. In 2019, Chris co-founded the nonprofit Monterey Bay DART. DART stands for Drones, Automation, Robotics Technology. The DART mission is to establish and facilitate a world-class drone automation and robotics technology development, testing, and manufacturing cluster in the Monterey Bay region. More about DART in a sec. Chris also founded and established another incredibly useful resource for the community, Airspace Integration, the Monterey Bay's first drone and aviation co-working innovation hub located in La Salva Beach. This 400-acre facility not only includes office and industrial space, but has an active airport owned by the Monterey Bay Academy. Chris at Airspace Integration fully manages and maintains the 2,200-foot grass runway, and this has been such an incredible resource to so many drone aviation and even weather research projects and companies. No matter what it is, research project or startup company activity, or who it is, students, researchers, businesses, or government agencies, Chris lends access to these resources and other connections in so many ways. So Chris's entrepreneurial tech background in support of the drone and aviation and tech cluster here in Monterey Bay is incredible by any measure and beyond deserving of this award. But I really feel, as a member of the board and this community, that this award represents something more than just entrepreneurship and the growth of tech in our local area. It's about contributing as part of and for our community. Chris fully embodies that sentiment. Chris hasn't just indirectly benefited our community from his own successes. He actively seeks to raise up the people around him. For those of you who know Chris, you know his inquisitive, adventurous nature, his always interested to learn something new or try something out mentality. He's got that open-minded, innovative Santa Cruz way of just organically exploring and finding new opportunities and an affinity to explore and do those things together. I've nominated Chris for this award the past few years, and this year I was planning to advocate to the board for him to win. But it turns out we were in total agreement based on what we've all come to know about Chris and his genuine support for this community, and especially in light of some recent activities. I'm almost done, I promise. Some of the more recent activities he's been pushing for the past several years, again, collaboratively working with all kinds of people, from high school and college students to government legislators, have really caught on in Santa Cruz and throughout the Monterey Bay. This past June, the Monterey Bay DART initiative was granted $1.5 million from the James Irvine Foundation to develop pilot and manufacturing training programs in partnership with Joby Aviation and CSUNB, Cal State Monterey Bay. And shortly after, this fall, the six counties, Santa Cruz to Ventura, the Uplift Central Coast Coalition, was awarded the SURF, California Economic Resilience Fund, $5 million planning grant to advance aviation and aerospace along the Central Coast. UC Santa Cruz has launched some exciting new drone and automation systems programs and research as well. It's no coincidence that these activities are taking off. Chris's collaboration behind the scenes for years and years has been a big part of the significant momentum that's being generated in our region now. Okay, almost there. With all that has been achieved, with all that Chris has given, this is the good part, I promise. There's so much, he's done so much for so long. I'm sorry. With all that has been achieved, with all that Chris has given and contributed and continues to give and contribute to our community, what's so special about Chris is that he does it he doesn't do it. He does not do it for even an ounce of recognition. He gladly flies under the radar, so to speak, living his passions while keeping that balance, and that really inspires me. Chris and his wife, Jessie, are the most down-to-earth, humble, good humans you could meet. It's clear that Chris does what he does for the sheer joy in sharing his passions, in sharing his skills and expertise to support his community for the betterment of our community. Thank you, Chris, for being such a wonderful human that cares about our community and so humbly supports it in all the ways you can and do. Congratulations.
Chris, you are loved. That was an amazing introduction. You definitely went over time, but wow, do you care? That was amazing.
Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate that. I think we'll switch spots. You did my 3 minutes. I'll do a minute. Yeah. Well, it's really great to be part of this community. And Andrea said 2 decades. It's actually been a total of 4. I came here in the early 80s to attend UC Santa Cruz. So, as being nominated for this award, I started thinking back of the technologies that I had exposure to in my past. So I grew up in the 60s, 70s, and I was recalling the black and white television. So I'm sure some of you guys had the black and white television, right? And then those tubes in the back, like all of a sudden the television didn't work, and all of a sudden it's like, what do we do now? And so I had a very engineering father. He said he knew exactly what to do. Saw what tubes weren't lit up in the back, took off the back, removed the tubes, and we went down to these kiosks. If anybody can remember these kiosks with RCA on them. And then it was a test station where you plugged your tubes in to see if they were working or not. If they weren't working, they had a place there. You bought these tubes, went back home, plugged them back into the TV, and voila, we were back in business. So, I always like thinking, like where I came from in technology and where we've gone. That divide between that canyon. And the other one that I have is I grew up with a car, and this car, it had a nickname of unsafe at any speed. And I don't know if you guys know this car. It was a 1962 Corvair. And so my grandfather was a Chevrolet dealer, and so my parents got all these, or my father got all these great cars, and my aunt got these great cars. I don't know why I didn't end up with the 59 Corvette. But nonetheless, it was the 62 Corvair, known as unsafe at any speed. So I actually was responsible for rolling this car over in front of my high school with my 3 friends in it. And but that's a totally different story, and I'll catch up on that some other time. But anyhow, this car was like a car that I pulled into Santa Cruz in 1984 to attend UC Santa Cruz and kind of be part of the community here. And I like to say that I had, in addition to going and studying biology at UC Santa Cruz, I had a minor in bicycle racing and rock climbing, because those were my other 2 passions. And I often find myself at class as a biology major, staring out the window thinking, there's this great world out there, and what am I doing sitting here? So that was kind of always a dilemma I had with myself, but I made it through the university. I ultimately got my degree. But the bicycle racing and also the rock climbing played a part in my future. The bicycle racing, it enabled me to focus on riding long distances and preparing for bicycle races. In addition, 2 of my friends that I rode bicycles with, their father was an entrepreneur and had a barcode company in Santa Cruz. And I was able to join that company and learn a lot about business and ultimately run a company for him in Switzerland and then in Ireland. So this really caught on to me as a passionate thing I wanted to do in my future. And then the rock climbing, I met these rock climbers that were former East Germans, and they started a rope access company. So for those of you who don't know rope access, it's a process of using ropes to reach vertical objects. And so we started this company and started rappelling down utility scale wind turbines for inspection, maintenance, and repair. So we grew this company to quite a large company, but that wasn't it. I was listening to customers. Customers told me that we can't pay you this much money to rappel down all our wind turbines. You have to do it a better way. So that's when we got involved with the drone business, and then that led into the aviation focus in delivering condition data of solar modules. And then a chance meeting in my neighborhood with a neighbor that worked with the Fort Ord Reuse Authority, FORA. I was looking for an airport that was associated with a city or municipality. And he said, hey, we have that in Marina. So we got together and formed this nonprofit. So that led into the things that Andrea mentioned, that we have this connection with Joby Aviation and re-education of underprivileged areas to work in the new manufacturing world that we would love to see in our communities. So yeah, I'm a little bit of an accidental entrepreneur and business owner, but incredibly it's all worked out, and I have to thank Santa Cruz for that. So thank you.
We gotta see your certificate.
Where are we looking?
Hold it over my face. Good? All right.
Good.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Hey, you forgot to mention that Rope Partners also accessed a lot of Santa Cruz's surfers, right? Because once you bring those blades down, they're made out of fiberglass, and a lot of surfers know how to do fiberglass repair. So, oh, even more fun. Who do we have next?
We have Nina coming up next.
Oh yeah, Nina was a Titan as well.
Yes. I think the last time I saw her was when she was winning the Titan Award. Good to see you again.
And it all went downhill from there. Hi, everyone. I want to invite you to think about somebody who you were great friends with in college. Somebody who got up to wild hijinks with. Someone who hopefully you're still friends with today. And I have the great honor today of introducing a Titan of Tech who is really the one friend I still have from college, who I met 23 years ago, 3,000 miles from here, when I got lost in the basement of the electrical engineering building at WPI, Worcester Polytech. And out popped this small, wild-eyed, bearded man out of an MRI machine that he had probably built himself. And a great friendship was born from there. Josh Resnick is one of the wildest inventors I know, an incredible hardware person. If you ever want to explode silverware on train capacitors, you can call him. If you ever are afraid you're going to burn down downtown Santa Cruz in Abbott Square because the mirrored walls you've put on the sides of the building are causing incredible hotspots, you can call Josh and he will save you. Joshua and I knew each other 20 years ago on the other side of the country, and we were so fortunate. About 5 years ago, I got the probably one good thing that I've ever gotten on LinkedIn, which is a reconnection from an old friend who had come down from Alaska to move to our area to work for Tesla, and who now runs an incredible heavy payload drone company called Parallel Flight Technologies, which I learned tonight I was the first investor in. I thought it was much bigger, apparently, than it is. But it's an incredible company, and it's run by an incredible person. And before I bring Josh up, I just want to say that I think, especially around here, maybe a little less so in Santa Cruz than in Silicon Valley, we meet a lot of Titan-esque people who are kind of jerks, or at least are blowhards. And Joshua is one of the most ethical, thoughtful, spiritual, kind people I know. He's a father of 5, which sounds insane to me, but they're really nice kids, like creepily nice kids. And I know he always is not just trying to do incredible, interesting, important technology work, but to do right by his employees and his partners and all the people around him. So I'm so grateful today to get to welcome up my friend, Josh Resnick.
Thank you, Nina. And happy birthday to your husband.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome to be here. Make sure you check out Nina's book, which is coming out less than a year from now. So it's going to be awesome. Thanks, Doug, and everybody at Santa Cruz Works. So I will try to keep this to 3 minutes, but I can't guarantee it. But if it's any longer, it won't be much longer. So in 3 minutes, I want to share with you some reflections from my entrepreneurial journey that I hope will spark you or speak to you on your own journey, whether or not you choose to entrepreneur, which I don't necessarily recommend. Every entrepreneur has two stories: the outer story, which they share with investors, customers, and the press, and an inner story, the deep reasons and motivations for choosing to do something incredibly risky, frustrating, exhilarating, and from the perspective of probability of success, choosing something to do they only have a 1 in 10 chance at succeeding at. For me, the outer catalyst was the terrible California wildfires, which began their own hockey stick growth curve in 2017 with the massive fire in Santa Rosa. Shortly after that, our home in the Santa Cruz Mountains was threatened for the first time. It would again be threatened in the CZU complex fire. At the time, I was leading system integration for the Tesla semi-truck program, which, I hope you guys saw it, just got delivered to customers after, 7 years, 8 years? So super, super proud of and grateful to be able to have contributed to that project. Anyway, as the fire burned just a mile from our home, a 60-year-old Skycrane helicopter flew overhead. I began to wonder, how can autonomous systems be leveraged to support the efforts of the women and men who risk their lives to fight wildfires? After talking with many firefighters and industry leaders, I learned that they wanted long-duration, heavy-lift drones that can fly at night, fly in heavy smoke, and fly when the staffed aircraft are grounded. These machines could bring loads to the front lines of the firefighters, keeping them supplied with tools, fuel, food, and water. Such a drone could also be used to ignite precision prescribed burns, to make fire breaks, or as a land management tool. After raising some seed money, thank you, Nina and company, I quit Tesla in 2019 to pursue my dream of starting a company to build something that would have to push the laws of physics and would be an environmental net positive. After 4 years, Parallel Flight has demonstrated our patented parallel hybrid drive, which will enable our Firefly drone to fly with 100 pounds of payload for almost 2 hours, 10 times longer than what's possible with all-electric systems. We've received funding from NASA, NSF, and the USDA. We've demonstrated fully autonomous delivery of 400 feet of wildland fire hose to a predefined GPS location, and soon we'll be demoing a system which can ignite up to 2,000 acres in a single prescribed burn mission. So we'll be doing that in Q1. Sign up to our mailing list if you want to check it out. We've raised over $10 million to date, and we are currently raising our Series A to put our first aircraft, Firefly, to work in Q4 next year. The journey, thank you, I'm almost done. The journey has not been easy and has been fraught with sacrifice, especially on the part of the families of the founding team. In the words of Elon Musk, being an entrepreneur is like eating glass and staring into the abyss of death, and that is on a good day. We're doing hardware. A lot of you guys have done software, so it can be hard too, though. I am sure of that. I know it's hard. My software team tells me. So why choose to embark on a journey fraught with risk, a high probability of failure, and hardships for your family? I believe the reason is that along the journey, there is the possibility of finding self-knowledge. In putting oneself into a perilous situation and being forced to go beyond preconceived limits outside of the comfort zone, that is one place where growth and healing can occur. Can occur in a lot of other places as well, but if you want an entrepreneur, you might find some of it there. In this way, entrepreneurship can be a spiritual path for those foolish enough to ignore the warnings and cautionary tales. Bringing this talk back down to earth, I'm super thankful for all the support we've received from Santa Cruz Works, from DART, which is Chris Bley's organization, and from the Santa Cruz community. Santa Cruz is an amazing place to do this type of work. Thank you, everybody, for supporting our company.
Say when. When?
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
All right.
Oh, wait, here, you might want to take that. Really, there is something better on the way. All right.
So inspiring. Each story, I get so like lost in it. I
think
love
I'll
this
go
night.
create a new startup.
I know. That was amazing and scary and truthful. Next, we have Beth. Beth, come on up. Introduce your Titan.
Thank you so much. Oh, it's so great to be here. My name is Beth Kohlhauer, and I am absolutely thrilled to be introducing our next Titan, Cindi Busenhart, who is the CEO and founder of Merge4. So I have had the amazing opportunity to work with Cindi, to learn from her, to strategize and collaborate. But even more than that, Cindi is one of my closest friends in the world, with another closest friend that's also celebrating this night with us. For me, Cindi is family. And I just love that the community is honoring her in this way. She grew up in this community. She has given back in so many ways. Merge4 is headquartered right in SoCal, a certified B Corp. So Cindi is always looking at how to operationally be sustainable, but even more than that, really looking at her people. How does she run the business sustainably? She is always putting people first. And one of the things I love, they make these amazing socks, which I happen to be wearing right now. They are highly technical, but also incredibly comfortable. And one of the coolest things is they feature people. Look at them. They say something about like born to sparkle inside too. Every sock has a quote on the inside, which I swear every day I open up and I'm like, oh, like what quote do I want to wear today? And they are just happy socks. I cannot say enough good things about them. And one of the coolest things is on the socks, she features local businesses and organizations and artists and athletes and musicians and photographers and philanthropies. So she is always giving back to the community. And in addition, Cindi is really leading by example. And her foundation that she created, over 20 years ago for Tim Brosh, she is leading by example to create our next generation of community leaders and entrepreneurs. She's created a junior advisory board that really runs the organization side by side the rest of the board. My kids have gone through it. Her son's gone through it, and she's really creating our next generation of leaders. And so it is my absolute pleasure to welcome our next, I have to say it, I'm sorry, but freaking awesome Titan, Cindi Busenhart. Woohoo!
Yeah. Thank you. Nice person with Thank you. I have a cheat sheet because holy cow, the Titans, both past and present, are freaking phenomenal. And you guys are all saving the world, and I make socks. So I'm going to read a little bit because Cynthia said it was okay. I have reached out to a lot of the past Titans for the crazy world I live in. My business is crazy. And so, when I looked at everything, I realized that I've actually hit a Titan in every single year but 2020, which maybe I chose to forget. But the Titans that I have reached out to are Toby Corey. So thank you, Toby. And this is in years, by year as well. Doug Erickson, super appreciate everything. He's like the master. Guy Kawasaki and Hillary Bryant. Where are you, Hillary? Are you here? She left. But amazing people, and they've been incredibly helpful. So the question was how I got here, and I would say outside of grit and pure resilience, I got here with a belief that business could be created for good in the world. A belief that through business, a business team could create something meaningful and something that would also bring both joy and happiness to people. I think Toby Corey, when I first met him, said it's called being a zentrepreneur, right? And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So knowing that, I wanted to champion a better way to do business. I wrote up this great business plan.
And this business plan had no product whatsoever. It did have a kick-ass logo, in my opinion. Yeah, so what I did, I knew that there was a few things that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to make product that everyone could wear or use. I knew that I wanted to have our internal team be stakeholders and be shareholders because they needed to have a say in the decision-making process. I think you can do great things on your own, but when you bring a team of people and you do it together, you can do great things together. So having skin in the game to me was a great thing. And then I knew I wanted to make product that wasn't cheap, that wasn't fast, and wasn't disposable. And in this climate, that's a hard thing to do sometimes. And then I wanted to make sure that we gave back to the community. And not in a typical check, which don't get me wrong, I appreciate those checks, but in a way that we can inspire artists and athletes and nonprofits. And a nonprofit actually that was near and dear to my heart, which was Lucille Packard's Children's Hospital, through their transplant unit, which is something near and dear to my family's heart. I was confident, maybe too confident actually, that I could do the governance behind our business, but I wanted to try to figure out how our company could stay accountable or be accountable to all these great things that I had in my head. And then lastly, I wanted to figure out what that product was going to be and how was I going to fund that product. So I looked through everything. I did a ton of research for all these great high standards that I had in my head. And I found out happily, actually, that everything that I had in my head wasn't unique at all. And then I ended up finding the Holy Grail for me. And that Holy Grail was B Corp certification. So that was awesome. I could go through this arduous, kind of transparent assessment where I was actually held accountable, or my company was held accountable. And for some strange reason, that brutal process was both inspiring to me and humbling to me. Humbling in the sense that you think you're kicking ass and all these things, and then you go through this process and you realize how much more you could actually do to become a better brand and a better company. So that was incredibly inspiring and humbling to me. So there I was with my son, who's here tonight. He's a skateboarder. We were in Tahoe, and he was kick flipping a skateboard. And for those of you who don't skateboard, it has grip tape on it, which is kind of like sandpaper. And he was kick flipping and kick flipping and kick flipping to the point where he rubbed off the sides, both sides of his shoes and his socks. And all you could do was see blood everywhere. And my son wanted to go eat, and I was like, we're not going anywhere until we find you a new pair of socks. And so it began. That was the product. I am incredibly blessed for some amazing people, Doug included, that have helped me literally create Merge 4 and make it a reality. The community and art, and durable product and fast fashion that is not something that is even in my brain. It's needed, something that is needed for every single day, can be innovative, it can have technical features, it can be sustainable, and it can truly make people happy. And so lucky me, I got here because of my son's stinky, dirty, bloody socks. So thank you, guys.
I guess we all get here in different ways. And, you know, I think it's one of the years where there was Titans, and Guy Kawasaki was a Titan, and you guys met. And then I remember he had a speaking engagement in India with the Prime Minister, and he gifted the Prime Minister Merge 4 socks. He says, this is a Santa Cruz gift, so.
Thank you.
Just.
All right,
Thank you. All right. You know, I know this could get back on track in terms of time if nobody mentions my name. So let's try that. Okay.
He does not like.
No.
He doesn't. He likes to be behind the scenes, even though he's doing so much. Okay.
Who's that?
Who do we have next? Sorry, I get so lost in it, and I love the stories. Now, every time I see Merge Force Auckland, I think of your son's feet, which is great. Okay. Steve Whitaker. Steve Whitaker, come on up.
Thank you very much. I'm a professor emeritus at UCSC. And thank you. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Leila Takayama. But before I do that, I want to do a little basic set theory. Feeling good? Feeling confident? So, I want you to imagine all the nice, altruistic people you know who go the extra mile for anybody. Got those in mind? Imagine now the set of all those highly technical, skilled, entrepreneurial, ambitious, driven people who run amazingly successful companies, thinking maybe Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, maybe Elon Musk. Now, put those two sets together. Imagine how large is the intersection of those two sets. It's tiny. It's really, really tiny. And my pleasure tonight is to introduce somebody who is a member of that tiny intersection. So I just want to spend a little bit of time talking technically about what Leila's done. So she's defined a world-leading scientific program at the intersection of robotics and psychology. She's seen that be funded by places like the National Science Foundation to the tune of millions of dollars. She's also received innovation awards, like she's represented us at the World Economic Forum in Davos as a young scholar representative. She's been nominated to be one of the most creative young entrepreneurs, 100 young most creative entrepreneurs of, I guess, 2014. At the same time, and this to me is equally impressive, I've seen, at the university side, I've seen what she's done for students. So I've read student tributes to her. They've said things like, Leila helped me fix up my CV. Leila gave me the confidence to think about doing research. Leila has written letters of recommendation for me. So I think that intersection is an amazing thing, that you have somebody here who has this world-leading program. She's now got amazing consultancy contracts with some of the world-leading robotics companies, but at the same time, she's an amazing person who will do all that stuff for individuals without really expecting any kind of compensation or kind of comeback from those people. So lovely to nominate you, Leila. So please, big hand for Leila.
Wow, how do you follow that introduction? Thanks, Steve. I think it's all because of this guy here that I get to live in this amazing place here. I think, gosh, it was about more than 6 years ago. I was working on drones at a place called Google X. And I got this email from Steve saying like, hey, at UC Santa Cruz, we're hiring for some faculty here. And, maybe, it seems like you got a pretty good job, but maybe this will be better. And I literally almost fell out of my seat when I got that email. It was a rough day at work. But also, I've admired Steve's work in human-computer interaction for many, many, many years and have jumped at an opportunity to get to work with him. On top of that, I grew up in Hawaii, and I really miss living near the Pacific Ocean. And Mountain View and the San Francisco Bay is not the same as being here near Monterey Bay. And so, for me,
I've always grown up at this sort of weird intersection with these, diverging forces pulling on me, right? Wanting to be in Hawaii, wanting to also be working in California, wanting to be, we grew up as a collectivist culture in places like Hawaii, but then, on the mainland, we're a little more individualistic. I think, also just being chill and being ambitious can be hard to do at the same time. And so I often felt like I was, struggling with figuring out which way I should go and which culture I should be in with, and was just doing a bad job of picking a side. Professionally, we're trained as social scientists. I study people because people are weird and messy and fascinating and crazy. But I want to apply that to technology, and that's a very different kind of community, right? Thinking about, teaching psychology students along with teaching computer science students who sit right next to them. How do you do that, right? There's a divide there. And doing research while also trying to persuade people to use our research. We work our butts off to do that science, and then nobody reads our papers because they're kind of boring, right? How do we get them to actually make use of all this knowledge that we're creating? And I think for me, I felt like I had to pick sides back then. I felt like you had to be, in this little pocket here and be well-defined. But I think moving to Santa Cruz, getting to hang out here, seeing people who are very comfortable in their own skin and being who they are, where they are, I've learned now to be comfortable with navigating those divides because I got to see so many people in this place doing exactly that, and that was really inspiring. So, while working at UC Santa Cruz, I got to work with probably the most supportive community I've ever had a chance to work with. I've worked with great people, but never ones who are as caring as the ones who are here, as understanding, as patient, and just supportive. I also learned that being a professor is freaking hard. You wear so many hats at all the same time, and so you gotta learn how to manage your time. And to me, that was a hard lesson in trying to figure out, life's short, so how are you gonna spend that time that you've got? And so for me, that meant striking out on my own. While I was working at UC Santa Cruz, I was doing about 10% time consulting just because some of my friends had robotics companies that needed help. They love their robots, but then they're like, well, nobody wants to use them, and we don't understand why. Please help. Help us show them how amazing our robots are. I try. I've decided to do that full time now. So I have a little consulting company called Hoku Labs where I get to work at the intersections and bridging those divides that I didn't really get to focus on before. And it's been pretty great so far. I've been full time doing this since last year. And now I get to help bridge divides for, say, places like Robust.AI, where they're trying to invent this future of collaborative mobile robots, where these robots actually treat you like a coworker instead of treating you like an obstacle to avoid. It's not rocket science. It is social science. Also, I get to work with bringing together across divides very, very different communities of people. With Ocean Kind, which actually was started in this area, we get to work on bridging divides between people doing conservation work, people doing ocean science, and people building crazy robotic technology, usually for the Navy, but it turns out that stuff's really useful for doing other things, like marine protected area monitoring, places that are really far away, where actually you really do need robots out there, because we humans don't do so well at great depths. Finally, I still get to do my unofficial office hours as I'm commuting over Highway 17. I get to do lots of phone calls with former students and friends and colleagues who are thinking about making that jump from academia to industry, from industry to academia. And Aviv here is one of these amazing examples of that. You'll get to meet him in a minute. And I got to meet Aviv as a rock star grad student at UC Santa Cruz, and now he's a rock star entrepreneur here in Santa Cruz, which is awesome to see. So I think, for me, since moving here, I've got to make a lot of new friends, make a lot of new colleagues. And these people have helped me to figure out how to bring together these passions of bringing people and technology together, along with new applications, right? Like ocean health. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't in a place like this. And for that, I'm really thankful. My friends here have also shown me that there are different ways to balance work and to make that part of life and to do that in a more sustainable way. And if it weren't for that, life would be pretty rough. So I'm really grateful for having those lessons. Also, I think, I really hope to be able to continue to stay here, to make new connections and to help bridge new divides. So I'm happy to chat more. I'd love to help, working on stuff that's more in this community as opposed to over the hill all the time. So I just want to say thank you to Santa Cruz Works and to the board for giving me this opportunity, and I'll do my best to live up to this honor.
Thanks.
That was so awesome. Right before, during this networking, there were some people who are here and who are not from Santa Cruz. Someone from Santa Cruz brought them and was asking, like, well, what's different about here? And the stories, the way you explain it is, I'm so glad. I keep looking at them. Are they listening? Are you listening? This is what's different. That was beautifully said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
so cool.
We're down
Dr.
to the
Manel.
last couple, huh?
Yes.
Who?
Dr. Manel.
Manel, yes. Oh, sorry. Doctor.
Yes, Dr. Manel.
Yes, sorry about that.
You work hard to get those letters in front.
Thank you, Doug. My name is Manel Camps. I'm at UCSC, and I'd like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to introduce Nada. I could speak for like half an hour about her accomplishments, but I really want to highlight her human qualities. I've worked with her for 7 years, first at Crown and now at the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurial Development. And the impact that she's had both at the college has been immense. She single-handedly developed a whole entrepreneurship program with classes in startups, in social and creative entrepreneurship, internships, in partnership with BIrtual, which she co-founded with Toby Corey. She's trained about 400 students, serviced another 100 businesses. She recently also started a marketing class taught by Rick Vargas, which is servicing local businesses again. So it really takes a titan to achieve these. I'd like to highlight 3 qualities that really stand out in Nada. Her versatility, her intuitive understanding of entrepreneurship, and her extraordinary ability to connect with people at a very personal level. In terms of versatility, she can do anything. She has earned degrees in civil engineering, philosophy, digital arts and media. She has experience managing a BART project with college radio, building a company, and teaching a broad range of topics. And she can even sing. Maybe you can sing as a song. Is there anything she's not good at? In terms of entrepreneurship, she gets that entrepreneurship is about solving problems, and that you don't look for problems for solutions, but solutions to problems. This very basic but revolutionary principle is at the core of her whole entrepreneurship training and internship programs, and the reason for her tremendous success. Finally, I'll say that Nada is a joy to work with because of her ability to connect with people at a personal level. I think she knows pretty much everybody in town. I don't even know why she needs an introduction for this audience, but her classes get off-the-charts reviews because students really appreciate being cared for at an individual level. She's also an amazing interviewer because she makes you feel that she cares about what you have to say and makes you feel comfortable. And she is an amazing bridge builder because she understands what motivates people and how what this motivation fits in a larger picture. This community is really lucky to have you, Nada. Please help me welcome Nada.
Wow, this is such an honor to be here. So many wonderful friends. I am so thankful, Doug, and to everyone at the Santa Cruz Works. Manel, gosh, am I lucky to work with you. So, yeah, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my journey. I'm here because of two entrepreneurs, my mom and dad. They had a chance to come to the United States, and my dad got a sale on 200,000 eggs. And he took those eggs, and he was like, oh, I'll get some incubators. And then my mom sold those hatched eggs, and that's actually how they made the money to get to the United States from a communist country. So when I teach entrepreneurship, I don't do it with the neoliberal capitalistic bent. I say anyone can be an entrepreneur. If you see a problem, find the solution. You're an entrepreneur. And using that entrepreneurial mindset. So fast forward a few years, I'm in college, I want to be a philosophy major, I want to be a fine arts major. My dad's like, no, I did not say it, like sell everything to come to America, not even speak English for you to do that. And so I ended up getting a construction management degree so I can make some good money. And that's how I ended up building BART, doing a bunch of train building, VTA, BART up in San Francisco. If I was going to build something, it was going to be something to benefit the world. And then I had the help with my family and my husband to go back to school and study digital arts and new media, finally be the artist I wanted to be. And in 2009, I graduated. And I was like, that's it. I'm not going to be working in construction anymore. And ended up in Nextpace. And I got to meet an incredible motley crew of people, thanks to Jeremy and the Nextpace people. And I was trained on how to be an entrepreneur. So everything, a lot of the things that I learned at Nextpace, I actually have passed on to the hundreds of students that have gone through our entrepreneurship program that through Manel's support we were able to make. I got a call 3 years ago from Toby Corey. He said, I got an idea. We've got this terrible situation happening. We're going to have a bloodbath with our local community. People are not going to be able to survive the social distancing situation. What are we going to do about that? He's like, I got this idea. We can connect our college kids to our local businesses and help them get online, because a lot of our local businesses had no virtual presence. Pacific Trading Company, one of the best dress companies in town, they weren't online. What are they going to do? And we couldn't let them go down. And so we've been doing that. We've been taking our students. They have this innate birthright of digital age. They know how to post on social media. They know how to do so many things that us older folk don't. And so we have started this program where we're training our students to take that knowledge, that innate knowledge, and to help our local businesses. Since March of 2020, we've had over 150 local businesses get free website building and social media tutoring. We've had over 500 students go through our entrepreneurship program. And whether they go and start their own businesses or not, that's not really my goal. My goal is to help them think entrepreneurial, use that entrepreneurial mindset to solve those wicked problems that we are facing right now. The newest, bestest thing that's happening right now is we're starting an eco-entrepreneurship class this summer so that we can take that entrepreneurial mindset and really help nature, which needs us right now. So thank you very much.
I see headlines. I made it down the coast.